I promise. Come on over, everybody. Thank you for coming. Okay. Come on. Is that the controller's office up there? Don't worry, you can be seen today. Which really brings us here today. Hi, everyone. I'm San Francisco Mayor Lyndon Breed, and it is really great to be here today to make one of the most challenging decisions oftentimes a mayor has to make, and that is appointing a controller. And not every mayor gets an opportunity to appoint a controller because each person can serve up to 10 years. And when Ben Rosenfield told me that he was cutting his term a little short, I said, okay, Ben, I'm gonna let you get away with it since you've been here for 16 years now doing an extraordinary job for the city and county of San Francisco with an amazing team. And so I wanna say thank you, because what happens with this particular office is something that no one really knows because they don't experience problems. And when things get handled appropriately, you don't even know who the controller is. And that's what's happened for Ben in most cases, except for people who had to work with him in City Hall and department heads and others. Everyone knows how valuable this office is, but they also know that this office has a reputation for doing extraordinary work. And to give you some sort of understanding of that, because we have both the Department of Public Health and Dr. Grant Colfax here, as well as the Controller's Office. And during COVID, we had such a difficult time in San Francisco. There were a lot of expectations, especially from city leaders like members of the Board of Supervisors. And so I'm glad that so many of them are here today, because folks like them and me, we ask for a lot. And we expect to make sure that in the process that we dot all the I's and cross all the T's and do all the technical work and make sure the money's in and make sure the money's going out and it's going out to the right person and all the appropriate paperwork is signed and done. And it takes a lot. And that's what this office has done very, very well during good times and certainly during very difficult times. And so I want to thank you, Ben, for your work, for serving the city and county of San Francisco for so many years, and just for helping us weather the storm in the way that you have, working with a lot of elected officials and department heads and your amazing team, and really delivering excellence for the city and county of San Francisco. So thank you. And don't worry, everyone, there'll be a party for Ben. I've never seen him smile so much, by the way. Didn't know it was in him. And so today, I want to officially announce that I am sending a name to the Board of Supervisors to request their support in approving the next controller of the city and county of San Francisco, Mr. Greg Wagner. Now, some of you are asking, number one, why Greg? And number two, who is Greg? He works for the city? Well, yes, he does work for the city. And in fact, again, it makes him the perfect candidate for this position, because we don't really want to know the controller. We just want information. And we want strong leadership. And Greg has been a strong leader. He has worked for two previous mayors, Mayor Ed Lee and Mayor Gavin Newsom, dealing with sometimes very challenging budget circumstances, unlike the circumstances that we have fortunately been able to enjoy for a few years. Well, now we have some very challenging circumstances ahead, and Greg understands what that means. And even though he worked for 2 previous mayors, he's already said that I was his favorite. And right then and there, I said, okay, let me figure out who this guy is. But fortunately for me, I got to know Greg when I first became mayor. I knew who he was. I knew what he did with the budget team. I understood his history around budgeting and work in San Francisco. But when I was going through a transition with the Department of Public Health, not only did Greg Wagner step up and manage that department through a challenging time, he was very helpful around the finances, very helpful around the work with the staff, and helpful in that transition. He was a professional, he was knowledgeable, and he was exactly what the department needed as it went through a transition. And that work didn't go anywhere. It continued because he stuck with the department. And in fact, the Department of Public Health is one of those departments with thousands of employees, a lot of challenges, a lot of ups and downs. And none of us expected to be in the midst of a global pandemic and adding to the responsibilities of what needed to be done. And public health was at the center of that. And they did an excellent job in delivering for the community and delivering for the people of San Francisco and helping us get to a better place. And there was a lot of money and a lot of resources and change going out the door, and Greg was at the center of so much of that work. In addition to that, we had a number of challenges with Laguna Honda. And I must say, the work that we did with public health, with labor, with the people who work at Laguna Honda, what we were able to do took a lot of oversight and work and finances, and Greg, again, delivered. It's the people that you don't see sometimes that make the biggest difference in what you do see in terms of the accomplishments that occur in San Francisco when we're able to go out and talk about what an amazing job we've done. I, as mayor, end up taking all the credit, of course, but the fact is, I know that so many of you here today, especially those in both the Controller's Office and the Department of Public Health and in various capacities in the city and county of San Francisco, I know that you are the driving force behind all of that work. And having talented leaders who are capable of steering the ship and getting the job done and being fiscally responsible and providing accurate information and getting the politics out of all of the decisions that need to be made in order to deliver for the people of San Francisco is not an easy thing to do, and Greg Wagner has done it. So, yeah. Dr. Koufax over here looking like a proud papa. That's my baby. And so with that, I will be forwarding his name to the Board of Supervisors, and I want to thank the members of the board who are joining us here today. And at this time, I want to invite the President of the Board of Supervisors, Aaron Peskin, to come up and say a few words and to commit his support to this appointment.
Thank you, Mayor Breed. Indeed, you have made a very wise nomination. Dr. Koufax, your loss is the rest of the city's gain. To the staff and employees of our esteemed Controller's Office, you have nothing to fear. And I say that as somebody who is now on the eve of their third controller. This is an office that, yes, has some duties and responsibilities around controlling fiscal spending, but it is an office that for more than a quarter of a century has done so much more. starting with Ed Harrington, who in many ways, as the politicians were toing and froing and fighting about this or that, was the glue that held the city and county of San Francisco together, not only in the realm of the fiscal and the economic, but actually in a larger realm of helping us work through creatively so many issues. And when that transition over a decade and a half ago happened from Ken Harrington to Ben Rosenfield, that same tradition was continued. And so I'm saying to the staff, who are really such remarkable, excellent, professional staff at the Controller's Office, that that is happening yet again. So I want to thank Mayor Breed for making a very thoughtful, well-considered decision. And I don't want to speak on behalf of my colleagues, but I have every confidence that Mr. Wagner's nomination will be confirmed by the San Francisco Board of Supervisors in the weeks to come. To Controller Rosenfield, I want to personally thank you not only for being honest and forthright, for sharing the information impartially in a nonpartisan way that we need to make decisions, but about letting us know that there are choices and helping us figure out what those choices are. And without steering us in those directions, doing it dispassionately and letting us come to our own conclusions. It has been remarkably important in the governance of San Francisco. I want to personally thank you for that. To Greg Wagner, I've known you now for getting on to a quarter of a century. I know that you have the knowledge, you have the chops. If you can do it at a $2 billion department, that is the Department of Public Health, you can do it for the entire city and county of San Francisco. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce the controller for another 2 months, Ben Rosenfield.
Thank you, Mayor Breed. Thank you, President Peskin, for those kind words. And I can safely tell you no one is happier to be here today and see this process progressing than me. And I'll have an opportunity another time to kind of say thank you and send my well wishes. But again, for all the years, I have greatly enjoyed the work and loved it. Today, I'm very excited to be here to express my beliefs that Greg will be a fantastic controller for the city and county of San Francisco if approved by the Board of Supervisors, and I appreciate your nomination, Madam Mayor. I've worked with Greg for years in a number of roles that he has held with the city and a number of roles I've held with the city in good times and bad times. I know he has the experience and a record of accomplishment in those roles that tells me that he will be a fantastic controller for the city and county of San Francisco. And maybe more importantly, I've seen Greg exhibit the qualities in performing that work that tell me that he would succeed in this role in a way that would be an honor to the controller's office in the city, both as a person, as a manager, and as a leader. And I think those qualities are perhaps as important as the skill he will bring to the job. It has been an honor to perform this work. It was an honor to succeed Ed Harrington in this role, and with this nomination and with the Board of Supervisors' approval, it will be an honor to hand the reins to Greg as our next controller. So Greg, thank you.
I know Ben is thinking to himself, oh, now they want to listen to me. Oh, now that I'm leaving. But again, Ben, thank you so much for your work and your commitment to San Francisco. We appreciate it so much and look forward to seeing what comes next. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, Greg Wagner Here he is, our next controller.
Hi, everybody. Got a smile on my face for now. I'm going to take Mayor Breed's advice and be short and try to stay under the radar so none of you remember who I am. I first really just want to say thank you, Mayor Breed. I am so deeply honored to be nominated as City Controller. It is in many ways, I feel like a culmination of a lot of the work that I've done across my career. So thank you, Mayor Breed. I also want to thank you, President Peskin, for being here and the kind words from both of you, the other members of the Board of Supervisors, and our elected city family. It is such an honor to have this group here today. The mayor described some of my history, but I've been working for the last 17 or so years, working to improve city finances and the services that our city delivers. I'm proud of the work to do the things that are at the heart of the Controller's Office mission, like managing the city's finances. That's the lifeblood of any public agency, but also the larger role of the Controller's Office, which, as we heard previously, is about promoting the integrity and honesty and ethics and accountability in the city and making sure that the city makes decisions based on data and follows through and measures its results. Like many cities across our country, I know that we're facing some challenging financial times ahead, but I really do believe in San Francisco. I believe in the future of this city, and I believe in our ability to tackle these financial challenges. Mayor Breed described some of our history in doing that. We did that during the Great Recession, and we did it by partnering with the Board of Supervisors, our labor partners, our elected officials and department heads across the city, and keeping our North Star on providing high quality and efficient public services. And we're going to do that again over the coming months. We've done it through the years during the late 20-teens when a certain federal administration was attempting to dismantle the funding for our safety net programs. We did it through the COVID pandemic. And I think and I believe that my background prepares me for that challenge. Again, I am honored by the opportunity to take on this role. So I'll just lastly say it's been a privilege to work with you, Ben, and with the previous controller, Ed Harrington. They did the job in different ways, but I took from them a lot of lessons, including approaching the job with competence, integrity, independence, and accountability, and focusing on data-driven decision-making to inform decisions by policymakers in the city. I will take that, and if I have the honor of being confirmed by the Board of Supervisors, I'll take those lessons with me into the job. I'm also really eager to work closely with the incredible staff in the Controller's Office, maybe up there on the balcony. And I just want to say a thank you to Dr. Grant Colfax and the team at the Public Health Department, who are close to my heart, and working with you has been a wonderful experience, and I will continue to partner with you as I transition into the new phase. To the members of the Board of Supervisors, we'll be talking soon. I'm looking forward to working through this next phase in the nomination process, and I'm eager to talk with you and hear your thoughts and answer your questions. So with that, thank you again for this honor, Mayor Breed, and I will leave it at that, and I'm anxious to get to work.
He even sounds like a controller. No concern about him running for supervisor, guys, so good for us. Yes, a San Franciscan raising his family here and is going to focus on the fiscal responsibility of dealing with San Francisco along with the work we have to do around tax reform, and just so many layers of things. And my hope is that the work and the information you provide will continue to be the guide that we need in order to make the best decisions to get us through a very difficult time in the coming years in San Francisco. We are grateful that you are stepping up. We look forward to the process. And again, thank you, Ben. Thank you, members of the board. Thank you to the Public Health Department as well as the Controller's Office and everyone that's joining us here today. Now, let's get back to work.